Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Nez Porter. Um, Today we have a small project, nothing major. We're going to be remeshing the screen here. You don't need a lot of tools, you just need the proper tools. So you can get a 5-in-1 tool. Doesn't have to be so sharp because you may need it, you may not need it. But the tools that you will need, these spleen rollers, it's designed to roll the spleen back in there. You do need that. You will need a sharp razor. It doesn't have to be nothing special, just a razor that's pretty sharp. Now the first thing is you got to take out the old mesh. This mesh has to be removed. Now you can find the corner. If you pull it hard enough, it may pull up the entire spleen in the mesh. Let's see if it does. No, it doesn't. So if it doesn't, next thing you do is just kind of dig in there and pull up the spleen. Just kind of gently, just pull it up. So once it comes up, and you can just gently, I'm gonna go all the way around, and just pull it all the way up. So that's what the 5-in-1 tool is for. Get that out of there. Sometimes if you get lucky, you can pull it up with the screen, but if you can't, that tells me that's the end where they cut it. And this spleen is reusable, so just gently pull it up, nice and slow. Don't yank it. Sometimes you get one that rots out and you gotta buy a new one. It's okay, go to Home Depot, get the right size, and put it in there. And it's not that hard. This is just take your time. You're not in a rush, you know. So once we get this spleen all the way out, be careful not to yank it, because if you yank it, you could break it. You know what I mean? So just gently just pull it out just like that. And once you get it out, kind of keep the same formation that you have, because you're gonna try to put it back in the same way it came out. Now you're gonna have some access, so you're gonna cut that off if you do. If not, then you did okay. But now we're removing the spleen out of here. This is pretty much not good for this anyway. There's other things you could probably use that for, if you're straining paint and strain and stuff like that. But for this purpose, we're not using that. So now you have that out, and you get yourself, go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. You get your roll of mesh. This is a roll of mesh right here, and it's gonna kind of dry fit it for now. Just be careful not to waste material. So we're gonna roll up what we're not using. Roll up a little bit more because I don't need that much on that edge. So roll up to a point where I can manage with it. Just about there looks pretty good. Now get my razor, and I'm gonna cut that axis off. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll move this over a little bit so you can see what's going on here. Try to do it slow as possible so you guys don't miss out the steps. I see a lot of guys, maintenance technicians, struggle with this, and they say they know how to do it, but then they struggle with doing it, so that means they don't know how to do it. So get my razor, cut a nice little line about right here. Be sure not to cut the wood. And that should be separated. I didn't cut deep enough on certain parts, which is okay. I'm doing it gingerly because I don't want to put no scars on the wood floor. That's why I'm doing it like this. If I was on a work table, it'd be a lot deeper. I always put a piece of cardboard underneath it and do it that way too. So One more section there. Alright, so I probably get it. Maybe one more section right there. Okay, so I successfully separate the mesh from the roll, which is okay. I wasn't trying to put too much pressure on it because I didn't want to scour up the floor there, which does, well, you probably will see it if I did. Maybe, maybe not, but try not to if you can help it. So we're gonna start a section, perfect section that I'm at. So if this piece came out that way, we're gonna try to roll it in the same way it came out. So we're gonna start from this corner. Make sure I got my, make sure we're evenly covered on all sides, which I am. Push my spleen down in here. I'll get the one with the grooves on it first. That's the one I'm gonna use to push this in that little slot. So kind of gently push down, and while keeping it straight at the same time. Just kind of roll it in there, just like that. Nice and gentle. Make sure it's nice and firm. Now I got a little extra on that little thing there, so that's okay because I'm gonna turn it and do the same thing over here. It never ever goes in the same exact way it came out, so keep that in mind. You will have a little bit extra, nothing major. Keep this kind of straight with that. Make sure it's nice and you don't have to pull it, but just make sure it's firm. You know what I mean? Some people pull it. You know, you can make it tighter if you want to. You know, it depends on what you're trying to do. So I got two sides in there already. Before I'm done, I'm gonna make sure these corners are done. That's what my 5 and 1/2 is gonna be for. It's to push these in, kind of like this. Just push it down, and then go this way and push it down too. Just get right on top of the rubber and just push it right down that corner, just like that. But I'm gonna make sure all that's done before I cut this off. So let me move on to the other side. Let's do the same exact thing here. I'm gonna kind of move the screen a little bit so I can get my correct angle that I'm working with. Because I'm kind of, if I do it this way, at least you can still get an idea what I'm doing. Bend my spleen. Give myself enough slack in that corner. And make sure this is kind of not tight but straight. You know, you don't have to pull it, but you just want it. Just make sure it's kind of taut. It doesn't have to be 100% like snug, tight. Some people yank it, but you don't have to do all that. See how that's in there? Now we're gonna go spin it back to the position where it was. Just about right there is where we were. Somewhere in that area. Now, this is my last and final row with the groove side anyway. Nice and gentle, just like that. Okay, now I got axes. Now I'm taking my other side, because there's two sides. The side with the groove, the side without the groove. The side without the groove, we're going back over it again. Just to make sure it's all pushed in there, nice and gentle. At least pushed in there, like that. Over here, go down here. Make sure it's all pushed down nice and don't do too much now, because then you make a mess out of yourself. Just make sure it's all pushed down. Same over here, just come down and make sure it's all sitting there nice and seamed. Now I'll get my 5 and 1/2 just to make sure these corners are pushed down. So the corners are kind of push down in there because the corners do tend to stick up a little bit, you know. And that little access piece right there, I'm gonna cut that off with my razor at the end, so you'll see that in a second. Make sure you're pushing on the rubber and not on the screen. It's really important. Push on the rubber, not on the screen. So that little axis, if you can see it in that corner there, I'm gonna kind of shimmy my way over there and cut that axis off. Just gonna cut it on the metal side. Don't cut it on the screen side. Cut it on the side where the metal is. That way that comes off like that. Now get the 5 and 1 2 to make sure this last piece is pushed in there. You wanna make sure it's down. Okay. Now, this is where the razor comes in. Take your razor, cut on the side of the rubber towards the metal. So you cut in here, on towards the metal, just above the spleen, and just go across. Make sure you're cutting on the right side, because if you cut on the wrong side, you waste all your time doing nothing. Just nice and gentle, just follow it right on the metal. Stay right on the metal. You get to this corner, be careful because you're going to have a little extra piece that's still sticking up. So you'll see when I pull this up, there's a piece of the corner you don't get with the razor because it's in that corner. Now I'm going to do I'm not really left-handed, but I can do it this way, I guess. I should be on that side doing it, but I'm going to do it this way. Actually, should I? Maybe I just spin the screen around, make it easier, because instead of trying to overreach myself, just do it like this. That way I'm not working against myself, because if I'm over there, I'm kind of working opposite what I should be doing. And you could do it that way, but just make it easy for yourself. And keep in mind, you're cutting above the spleen towards this piece of metal right here. Your blade is literally riding along this piece of metal. That's what you're doing. Yeah. I did. Now I'm gonna check these corners. See how when I pull on this corner is still intact? That's why I don't want to yank it. I want to cut that corner out. Because sometimes the razor doesn't get all the way in that corner. So once you free that corner right now, you can release it. Same thing over here, this corner is still intact, so just want to come out and cut it just a little bit right there and free that corner up. So now that spleen is loose. Now come over, not the spleen, the screen is loose. The spleen stays intact. Now, the final point here, same thing. I did a video on this before and I didn't quite explain like how it should be done or the process in doing it. So now you get, this is pretty much trash now. You don't need this anymore. That's garbage. So the tools that you need is the spleen rolling tool. I like the wooden ones better than the plastic ones. They're pretty much old school, but they do a better job. These been around for years. You need a sharp razor. You want to make sure it's a sharp razor, not a dull razor. 5 and 1 tool. Optional, you could buy a new spleen. You can always buy it at Home Depot. They sell it by the roll. They got different thicknesses, so it's always good to take a sample to the store so you get the right size. I think they come in 3 different sizes, so you want to make sure you get the right size on that. Now, after that, this is the final product of the screen. If you look at it, I don't know if you can see any, but it looks like a regular screen now. You can't even tell that it was done. You know, you go to the store and they charge you 25, 30, 40 bucks to do this. It's something you could do if you have a homeowner. You could do it yourself. It's pretty easy. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else I missed. We do have a spleen that's in the screen that's in there. What else can I say? That's how you do it. Catch you guys in the next one.